Hello and welcome to Rhetoric 3317, Introduction to Nonfiction. My name is Dr. Heidi Harris and I'll be your instructor for the course. This welcome video is going to review three main components of our class: the Blackboard website, Google Docs, and our Weebly course webpage. On your screen now is the Blackboard site for the course. Once you log into Blackboard, you should be able to click on the link and go directly to our class. Each week I'll post a weekly announcement, and those announcements will also go to your UALR Gmail account. So make sure about Sunday night to check your Gmail for the announcement for the next week. Each one of these announcements includes information that you'll need to know to understand what to do that week in the course, and gives you specific instructions, deadlines, and other information that you'll need to be successful. Be sure that you read these welcome announcements thoroughly. In our Blackboard website, you'll see a list of tabs that lead partially to other elements of the course, but also a few tabs that are specific to just Blackboard, the Blackboard portion of the site. Syllabus, schedule, and course webpage all take you to outside components of the class. The syllabus and schedule are going to take you to Google documents that have those documents in them, and the course webpage will take you to our course website for Rhetoric 3317, and that looks like this. It has a little TARDIS on it for you Doctor Who fans. If you're not a Doctor Who fan, don't worry. You should be able to pick up the context cues by the way that the course is set up. The two elements that are unique to the Blackboard component of the course are the discussions area and the grades area. All the discussions that we're going to do in the course are going to take place in Blackboard, and all the grades that I assign are going to be accessible through this tab in your Blackboard site. I want to go through the discussions area briefly because I want to show you a couple features of that. They're going to be useful to you as you complete the course. You won't be creating any forums, obviously. You'll see forums already created that you're going to be using for the class. So I'm going to start with this top one, the question and answer forum. If you have any questions about the course that you think would benefit all students in the class, instead of emailing those, you can put them in this forum, and it's going to generate an email to me to let me know that there's a question there that I can answer. And then when you go in, you should see unread posts, and you can go in and check and see if there are any questions that have been answered for the week. You can also subscribe to this forum if you want to get notifications when others have asked questions in the course. So think of this as kind of the time in class when you're sitting around at the beginning of course before the instructor gets there, or right when the instructor comes in the room when you're asking questions in the class. If you click on that forum link, you're going to go directly into the forum, and it's going to have a subscribe feature at the top. This I've already subscribed to, so it says unsubscribe, but yours will say subscribe, and if you click on that link, you'll be subscribed to the forum. What that means is that anytime anyone creates a thread or posts a message in this area, you'll receive an email to your UALR email account that has a link that will take you directly into that message post. So you don't have to go in and be checking Blackboard all the time. Once you create a thread, you should be able to label that thread. You'll see the prompts from the discussion board there. Hopefully you can spell. And then you can ask your question here. Hit submit, and that will send the thread onto your Blackboard discussion. If you've never done Blackboard discussion, that's basically how it works. The next discussion board that you're going to see in this area or forum is the discussion for the Who I Am story, and that's going to be your first assignment in the course. There also will be an introductory place where we're going to or rather, that's the introductory space where we're going to introduce ourselves formally to the course. You'll click on that. And this is a little bit different because instead of being able to subscribe to the entire forum, you'll just want to subscribe to your specific thread. For the rest of the discussions, other than the question and answer forum, you'll be able to subscribe to threads only. So you're going to create your thread. This is a terrible subject line, but type something in there. And then you're going to cut and paste your Who I Am story link into this area. And I'll talk about that a little bit more when I go into Google Docs. But basically, once you hit submit and submit that story, you can go back into that individual thread And that's going to allow you to subscribe to just that thread. I'm going to go ahead and click subscribe. So now that anyone who posts in response to my story, I'm going to receive an email notification that they posted, and then I can go right in and talk with them. It kind of helps us to keep the discussion going instead of having to go in 1 or 2 times a week to check all of the discussion boards at once. Think of it as a discussion in a face-to-face class. When someone responds to you in a face-to-face discussion, you don't want to necessarily wait 2 or 3 days to get a reply. You want to be able to respond as quickly as possible, and the subscribe feature will help you to do that. The next component of our course that I'd like to go over is the Weebly webpage. You can access that by clicking on the course webpage here, but I also will thread parts of the course webpage in throughout both the schedule and your weekly announcements, so you'll be able to move back and forth in those. If you click on that course webpage link, it's going to take us to our home page, and this is where most of the materials for the course are going to be posted, including your readings for the class. In case you've noticed, there are no textbooks for this class. All of the readings for the course are going to be linked into the course schedule and integrated into the course itself. This is the home page for our class. It just gives you a really quick introduction to what we're going to do. Basically, our course is going to revolve around the concepts of time and space. That's why the TARDIS. How we use narrative time to flow through a story, to jump back and forth in time, or to focus on a particular point in time, and how we deal with space, how we manipulate words and images to be able to create a sense of a person being directly in the center of a space, rather than necessarily looking at it from a distance, or what I call looking at it through a window, and I'll do a little mini lecture that talks about that in the upcoming weeks. You can access the syllabus and schedule from our Blackboard course, but you can also access them from the Weebly page as well. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that syllabus. The syllabus actually opens in Google Docs, and you can print it if you'd like a printed copy of that through this area. Now, the first page just has some basic information about the course. Please read this carefully. You're probably not used to reading syllabi, but in online classes, reading syllabi are crucial to being able to successfully complete the course. Email is the best way to get a hold of the doctor, not Doctor Who, unfortunately, although wouldn't that be nice, but Dr. Harris. So the UALR email account that I have listed here is the fastest way to reach me. I usually respond within a few hours. I have it on my phone, always checking my messages. I don't check my office phone very frequently, and if you can't get a hold of me through email or office phone within about 24 to 48 hours, you can call the Office of Rhetoric and Writing that's listed here. I only respond to emails sent through the UALR email system for your own privacy and protection, so I can make sure that I'm actually communicating with you. So if you send email through your private email, I'll probably send a message back saying, I'm sorry, I can't answer your question. Can you please resubmit this? And that's really for FERPA reasons. No materials to buy in the course. All you'll need to do is have access to a printer, so you can print out materials if you like to read them and annotate them. And that would be a really good idea, because we're going to talk about some close reading techniques in week 1, and being able to write on the sides to annotate is going to help you with the discussion for the week 2 materials. A note about this online course. People tend to take online courses because they think that they're not going to take as much time as a seated course, which is actually the opposite of what is actually true. You should replace those 3 hours that you'd spend in a face-to-face course with at least 3, 6, or 9, possibly depending on how fast you read, hours outside the class. So calculate in time for reading, calculate in time for discussing online, calculate in time for writing, and when I show you the schedule here in a little while, I'll walk you through a process that will help you be able to kind of calculate the time that you're going to need to complete the requirements for the course. The learning outcomes in the course, everything in the course is tied back into these learning outcomes. So by the end of the course, you should be able to do these things if you've been successful in the course. If you have an A or B grade, you definitely will be able to do these things. Here's a table with the course requirements, and as you can see, the Weebly webpage is already hyperlinked into here. So there's a couple of different ways that you can get to your assignments, through Blackboard, through Weebly, through this area, and also through the schedule that I show you in a moment. You're going to start out with the Who I Am story, which is our introduction to the course. So in normal online courses, you might do a quick introduction board post. We're going to do a Who I Am story. It's going to be your first essay assignment. We'll have 2 major essays, which doesn't seem like a lot, but we're going to work through multiple drafts of those essays in the course. You're going to be writing journals, which is really your time to kind of practice the elements and concepts in the course. You'll be doing some readings that say from major authors who say, here are some techniques I use to kind of develop ideas, to work with timing and pacing. In your journal area, you're going to be able to practice those things in kind of a free-for-all environment. You're also going to be doing some activities called copy and compose, and I have some more material about that later we'll go over. We'll be doing workshops through Google Hangouts, and I'm going to show you in a minute the Google suite of apps. That's where we're going to go to do the Hangouts. There'll be a couple of days where we'll test Google Hangouts so you know if it works on your computer, but it's basically a synchronous service that lets us talk to each other to workshop our essays. So you're going to have the workshop experience online like you'd have in a face-to-face classroom. You're going to be writing letters to your peers along with those workshops that talk about the strengths and weaknesses in their writing to help them improve as well. We'll have discussion boards in the class that replicate the face-to-face class environment where we talk about the readings. And then you're going to be doing 3 reflections in the course. So we're really working on intention here, being intentional writers. And to me, an intentional writer is one who makes clear and conscious decisions. So you're not just kind of stream of consciousness throwing things out because the muse strikes you. That you'll be doing in your journals, you might be doing for first drafts. But toward the ends of these drafts, you should be able to describe the intentional choices you made. I picked this scene instead of a different one because I really wanted to capture this component of time and space. And that's what's going to happen in our reflections. You can read this description of the course assignments. I've gone over some of that for you already. That just elaborates on that and gives you some direction as to what's important in the course. Grading scale and policies, that's pretty standard. You can read that as well. Late work, I accept 1 late assignment up to a week late. Other than that, I expect all assignments to be submitted on time. I don't take any other late work. You can submit something for feedback, but I won't actually give you an assignment grade unless you use your 1 late pass. I recommend using either Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox, and there are usually little photos here. I don't know why those aren't showing up. If you use Internet Explorer or Safari, you might experience problems with the web page and with Blackboard with submissions. So I've linked that in here if you'd like to go to those to get those particular browsers. And then policies. The Netiquette policy, please review that. Use proper capitalization, spelling, and grammar, appropriate academic conduct. And then the UALR policies are below that, and you can review those as well. Those are also replicated in the syllabus tab that you can access from your home page. I also wanted to go quickly through the schedule because this is where you can not only access all the readings and viewings for the course, but you also can access the links to get to individual assignment descriptions. The assignment descriptions are all hosted in Weebly and linked in here. So you'll notice that there are icons on the sides of the schedule, and these refer to particular assignments. So every time you have readings, you'll see this icon. Every time you have a draft of something that you need to write, you'll see this icon. Every time you should be working on journal entries, you'll see this icon. And I've divided up your journals because they're only going to be due as a whole every few weeks. I've threaded those into the syllabus or the schedule so that you'll be able to block time out and work on them across time instead of trying to do them all at the end. It will be almost impossible to complete the journals with any kind of a good grade on them without working on them a little bit at a time. It's also a place for you to work on drafting for the major projects, so I want you to be able to work on those a couple of journal posts a week throughout the course. So those are threaded into there. Even though the journal's not due, it'll say complete journal entries. All of these links lead you to readings for the course. So here's the first one, the Catherine Ramsdell piece that's going to describe to you the Who I Am story. If you click on that, it'll take you right to the link for that reading. And like I said, it's a good idea to print those out so you can annotate them because we're going to be doing some close reading, some reading like a writer in the course. Discussions have these icons, and if you click on those links, you'll go directly to Oh, you should go directly to the descriptions for those discussions. That link is broken. Let's go back into here. I'll show you them this way. I'll go in and fix that. The discussion board prompts are all in Weebly. So here's the 2.1 discussion board. It's the first discussion board in the class. So before completing the first discussion board, you're going to want to read the essays in week 1, and those are on your schedule. And then what it's going to do is going to give you what you need to do to complete the discussion board for that week. You also should be able to go in through our Blackboard site, go to the discussions area, and see those descriptions linked in there as well. And I'll make sure all those links are operational before class starts. So a couple of ways that you can get to assignments through the schedule itself. You can click on those directly through the Weebly page, through these drop-down menus, or you can get to them through Blackboard. Your journals, I want to talk just for a second about the components there. You're going to have a free write in your journal, which is basically looking at the concepts that we're reading about in class and kind of replicating those to practice drafting or not drafting, just kind of learning the concepts. But you're also going to have copy and compose exercises. And what this is a way of understanding and integrating style. So with copy and compose, what you're doing is copying a passage word for word. So you might pick a paragraph or a few sentences that you think are really well done, like they just rang true to you, or you really like the way that they're constructed, and describe how that works. They really have vivid verbs. You really like how they built slowly the pacing up to kind of a climactic finish. And then I'd like you to copy in your own words or compose in your own words the same kind of patterns in the sentence. And I give an example here with Joanne Bird's, a passage from Joanne Bird's Out There, where I copy the passage, I describe what makes it work, and then I do a version of my own words that deals with an essay that I was working on at the time. So this is an example of how you do that. It'll feel really awkward at first, but it's a really great way of thinking about how language works and operates on a really micro level. So those are the two components of your journals. Your essays are linked in here, starting with your Who I Am story, which is what you'll be working on in week 1. There's a little bit of reading to get through before you do this week 1 Who I Am story, so make sure that you do that before you get started. You'll want to read Catherine Ramsdale's story that's linked into this schedule. And then you're going to submit that in Google Docs, and that's the last component of the course that I want to go over. We all have Google Docs automatically in the apps suite for our UALR email. So if you go to your individual email account and go to this little object that looks like a Rubik's Cube that'll test your 80s toy knowledge, up in the right-hand corner and hover over it, it says Apps. You'll click on that and it opens up the Google Apps suite. Some of you will be familiar with this, some of you probably won't. But the element that you want to go to is your Google Drive. And that's going to give you access to Google Docs and a couple of other applications that might be interesting to you in other classes as well. To create a Google Doc, you're going to click on New, and then go down to Google Docs. And here you see Google Sheets, which is like Excel, Google Slides, which is a little like PowerPoint. But we're going to click on Google Docs, open up a new document. All of your essays for the course and your journals are going to be completed in Google Docs and shared with me or shared with members of the course. And this will get easier for you as it goes along, but I just wanted to walk you through how to get started. Once you create that Google Doc, the first thing you're going to want to do is give it a title. And for some, I give specific directions, but most of the time you're going to want the title of the assignment. So this is going to be my Who I Am story. I'm going to title that New Beginnings. It's not a great title, but it's a title. I'm going to click OK, and then I can type my essay here. So you're actually going to draft and compose in Google Docs. One of the nice things about that is, as you can see here, all changes are saved in Drive automatically. Every few seconds it updates. So if you have a problem with losing documents because you don't save them often enough, Google Drive automatically saves them for you. And when you go back into Google Drive, you'll see there's my New Beginnings essay already saved for me. Once I get done typing that essay, what I'm going to want to do to share it is go to the share area up in the right hand side, click that, and then I'm going to want to get a shareable link because I'm going to want to copy that link into Blackboard, and I'll show you how I do that here in a second. So I click on Get Shareable Link, and it provides a URL. It also says that only the people at UALR can view the link, which is what you want it to be set as. You're going to copy that, go to your discussion board and go to your Who I Am story. And I already have my first thread set up, so I'm going to go in to that and edit it. And I can't actually edit, so we'll just go in there. There we go. And then my Who I Am story is New Beginnings. So I'm going to make that a hyperlink and embed that Who I Am story in that title. So I'm going to select that text that I want to be a hyperlink. I'm going to go up to this little chain that says Insert or Edit Link. Click on that. I'm going to paste that URL that I copied from Google Docs into that area. And then in this next window down, or this little drop box here, I'm going to go to Open in a New Window because I want my essay to open in a window outside of the discussion board. Click Insert, and it creates a hyperlink for me. If I just pasted the hyperlink into that area, it wouldn't be a hyperlink, it would just be a series of characters. So I want to make sure and make that a hyperlink when I submit that. I'm going to write my little kind of blurby review for that as well, although I'm not going to do that in this video. And then I'm going to hit Submit, and then that's going to be ready to share with my classmates. So that's just for the Who I Am story. If I'm going to share this with my professor because it's a journal, it's a draft of an essay or something else that goes just directly to me, you do the same kind of thing, only you go to the Share button and you'll type my email address in here. So I'm going to share it with myself. I'm going to find my email address, share it. I can edit, which is important because I'm going to add comments to that, and then I'm going to hit Send. And that's going to send an email to me saying that that's your essay and it's ready for me to comment on. I'll add comments to your essay here in Google Docs. They're going to look a little like this. And you'll get an email when I add comments to that as well. And then you can go and click on those comments and you can reply to me so we can kind of have a dialogue around elements of your essay if you'd like to do that. So we're going to have a lot of ways of communicating in this online course. It's not going to be you writing in a vacuum, not talking with any of your classmates or myself. And this just shows a couple of the ways that we're going to do that. So that's a basic introduction to the course. To get started, you'll want to go review the elements of the Blackboard webpage. Go into Weebly and read Essay 1, which is the first essay that we're going to be doing. Here's the reflection component for that. Read the journal's information, the discussion boards, and then go into that schedule and get started with reading these documents. You want to do those as fast as you can. There are only 3 essays for this first week that all kind of give you an idea of basic concepts of reading and writing, and kind of thinking about what an essay means. The At One piece is a really interesting piece that kind of just gives us a heads up into kind of what we mean when we say we're writing an academic essay as opposed to a fiction story or a poem. So that's all. If you have any questions, please email me. My email address is linked in Blackboard and in the syllabus, but it's haharris@ualr.edu, and I really look forward to this course. I love nonfiction, and I hope that by the end of it you will too. So have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions, and I welcome you to the course.